Hey guys, it's me. Who else would it be? Actually, it's Susan. Okay, I'm just kidding around with you. Today we're doing a little follow-up video to that Critics United video that I did a couple days ago. This one's going to be a bit different than that one because, well, for starters, you guys can actually see me and it's not just some still of me doing this. And secondly, this is not scripted. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of good to have that one scripted because I had a lot of info in there, but at the same time, it was kind of monotone and boring, and the reason why this one's not scripted because I didn't really see the need to script it. The reason why I'm doing a follow-up video was because, well, some people, wanted to give me some more information about Critics United. Some of these people wanted to change my mind about them. And this video is going to pretty much show whether or not they did. Spoiler alert, they didn't. Yeah, my opinion of Critics United has not changed at all. I'm sorry, but it hasn't. For some people, that's probably a good thing because it did seem like I got a lot of support in regards to Critics United, but for some other people, not so much. Let me explain why. Well, for starters, some of the proof I was given that was to sway my opinion of them was either false, incredibly vague, or just not enough to change my mind. The completely false ones I will go into first. One person said, "Hey, you should check out their Encyclopedia Dramatica page. That has proof of them being douchebags." Okay, you lost me when you said Encyclopedia Dramatica. Why? Because Encyclopedia Dramatica is a troll site. They were made by trolls for trolls. As in, you don't take what's on there seriously. They always mock or fabricate stuff on there for their own entertainment. How do I know this? There was a page about me on there. It's gone now, or at least I think it's gone unless they made another one. But if I recall correctly, the original page said something along the lines of that I was some woman in my mid-30s and that I had Asperger's syndrome and that I had like 30 cats. I'm going to be 23 in October. At the time that article was made, I didn't have any cats at all. I had one dog, and I do not have Asperger's. I even took an online test that proved that I don't have Asperger's. So, you can't believe what's on Encyclopedia Dramatica. Besides, someone later commented by saying, "Oh, a lot of the stuff on that ED page about Critics United is all photoshopped." And trust me, it's not that hard to Photoshop text. So, that I completely threw out the window. Another quote-unquote false one. Someone was telling me about this really nasty review that some person had left on a fanfic on fanfiction.net. They're telling me all about the review. They didn't have any links to it, even though I asked them at one point to send me a link. And then they finished it up by saying, "Oh, but they weren't a member of Critics United." So I'm thinking to myself, okay, what the fuck? So I say to them, well, what does that have to do with Critics United if they're not part of Critics United? Their reply was, "Oh, well, because they're part of another critique group on fanfiction.net, it's practically the same thing." No, it's not! Okay. Saying that this, whatever the other critique group is, and Critics United is the same just because they both critique fanfics, that would be like saying that the fanfiction critic and myself, the fanfic critic, are exactly the same. We are not. For anyone who has watched our shows and have compared them, they're both completely different. The only similarity is that we review fanfics. But, Winnie has her own way of doing it and I have my own way of doing it. You could say the same for a couple of websites. That guy with the glasses.com and cinemassacre.com. They both have internet reviewers. They both review things, but that doesn't mean they're the same. And that what one group does represents what the other group does. No, no, no! There's also saying that Democrats and Republicans are exactly the same just because they're both political parties. So yeah, I digress. You can't use that as proof when the member is not even part of Critics United. So I threw that out the window. So let's move on to the very vague proof that someone tried to give me, which could also kind of fall into the false category here. Someone sent me a link to a petition on change.org. Change.org is a place where people can make petitions for many things and get a lot of signatures to get them passed and whatnot. And someone made a petition to get rid of Critics United. Just look it up. I'm sure you can find it in Google, no problem. And I say this is very vague because, yes, it has a lot of supporters and stuff, but a lot of the people who left comments about why they were signing this petition, they weren't giving any proof about their claims. Like a lot of them are saying, oh, well, they reported my fanfic. They left this nasty review. I think to myself, oh, well, that's nice. What did the review say? Do you have a link? No? Okay, well, moving forward. And most of the reviews were exactly like that. And the reason why I could say that this change.org thing is false or fake is because, you know, there's no proof that this is real. This, for all we know, the people signing this petition could all be the same group of people. I mean, there was one person that I read that actually seemed to be giving an example of what happened, saying that their 10-year-old kid wrote a fanfic and they hated the comment that a Critics United member had left in regards to it, but even that was kind of stupid and vague. They didn't give any proof. They didn't say what their kid's screen name was. They didn't leave a link to the review or anything. And after reading what the supposed uproar was over what the Critics United member did, all the Critics United member did was say, oh, this story is god-awful. It could possibly be a troll fic. Report it. That's it. I'm sorry, I've read a lot worse reviews than that. And I'm sorry, parent, but what the fuck are you doing letting your 10-year-old kid roam on the internet? Are parents stupid these days? Because, you know, when I was a kid, I was not allowed to go on the internet. The only time I was allowed to go on the internet was at school when we were being supervised by our teachers. The only time I freely went on the internet was when I was 18 years old. 18! Now, I'm not saying you have to wait until 18 to let your kids go on the internet, but at least wait until they're teenagers and supervise them first. Don't let 10-year-olds go on the internet. Common fucking sense. So if you're going to be upset that your kid got upset because someone left a bad review, oh boo-hoo, that's your own fault because you weren't monitoring your kid. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the final thing. The actual proof, which was really just the one comment that someone showed me. They told me that their friend got a review from a Critics United member. They actually provided the link to the review when I asked them for it. And the member was indeed a Critics United member. Pretty much the fanfic was a script or / chat story, which is against the rules on fanfiction.net, and the Critics United member posted a review saying that they thought that the fanfic was shit and that it broke the rules of fanfiction.net because of it being in script / chat format. They then made a comment about them thinking that the author of the fanfic wanted attention and was a desperate attention seeker. Now, I will admit that's probably not the best review someone of that group can leave because, you know, from what I've seen of the group, they seem to be very professional acting and, you know, try not to be jerks in their reviews and even encourage people who come to them to report someone if they're leaving a really nasty review with swearing. Now, this review that I had just told you about did not have any swearing, but I could see where it could be a little mean. Does that mean I'm going to change my mind about the group, though? No. And for the review itself, it wasn't the worst review I've ever read. I think the only reason why it was taken too far, in my opinion, was when they were implying that the author likes attention. But at the same time, seeing I've had my own experience with a certain author who, in my opinion, did seem like someone who was desperately seeking attention, I kind of can't blame them for jumping to that conclusion. I'm not going to say this author's name, but I think most of you know who she is at this point. The only hint I'll give you is the name A Special Truce. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. But this author was someone who, at one point, because of me going back and forth with this person, I pretty much said, "You're nothing but an attention whore." Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but that's how this person was coming across. And for all we know, maybe this Critics United member was talking to this author in the past and the author wasn't listening, and maybe the reason why he said she was coming across as someone who was seeking attention, maybe it could have been because of how she worded her author's notes. I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't be defending them entirely, but I'm trying to give you an idea about where they might be coming from. And no offense to the person who provided this proof to me, the author of the fanfic is your friend. And forgive me for saying this, but I kind of think you're biased to the situation just because the author is your friend. Sorry for saying it, but that's how it kind of comes across to me. I mean, we can all be kind of biased when it comes to, defending a friend or a family member. I'm like that too. In fact, some of the people who've defended me for my own stupid actions on the internet have been biased and kind of blinded to my own stupidity and see everyone else as the villains. So, I'm just saying. But I digress. Frankly, Critics United, just keep doing what you're doing. You're not doing anything wrong, but, keep an eye out on some of your members who do kind of abuse their power, if you put it that way. I'm not really necessarily saying that the person who left that review was abusing it, but they could have worded things a little bit differently. So, just keep that in mind, please, and thank you. Well, guys, thank you for watching this video. Sorry if it was kind of all over the place and kind of stumbly. Like I said before, it's unscripted. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got an episode of Fanfic Critic I need to film, so you guys have a nice day.